I hope that you're watching this right now, snuggled up in your bed with your favorite comforter. And I wish that one day there could be breath on phones so you could feel me breathing beside you as you're listening to my soothing voice. Wouldn't you like that? ASMR on a new level. You guys know how much Google knows about you? They know more about you than your spouse, your significant other, your mother, and the government probably combined, and now they're gonna know even more because Google, they're being yelled at right now for tracking people even when they're not using Google services, Google apps. They're tracking your shopping habits wherever you go because have you noticed that they've been very aggressive lately? When you go into a place, they're like, oh hey, you're at Guardian Games. Why don't you take some pictures and share them online to help, improve the experience for other people? Have you noticed how they've been more aggressive about that? Like, all the time? Well, they're tracking you while you're in there, and they're making notes. He shops at this kind of store. It's rated in this category. He's into these sorts of things. That's going to be better marketing data that we can give to people. And also, they are tracking your credit card transactions. They have access to about 70% of the credit card transactions that happen in the USA and a decent percentage of them that are outside. I don't know the actual numbers for that, but they have access to a lot of that information. So even when you go there and purchase things, they can look at your history and they can piece together this information. They can say, well, he was looking at Dungeons and Dragons stuff online from a link that he clicked through one of our ads. He was looking at it for like 3 hours, but he didn't buy it from that. So you're like, they clicked on the Google ad, but it didn't pay off for us. Well, now Google can be like, the next day, he went to the store and he bought your product using his credit card, and here's the record of that. So they can show how effective their marketing tools are on a huge scale. Now, this sort of information they're using for marketing, of course, but it also means that they're going to have this much information about you. What can you do? What are you going to do about it? I mean, really, that's pretty much the end of it, because I don't know what to do about it. Is there any way to secure your cards from, marketing shit? It's just the way the world works nowadays. Just go ahead and think about that for a little while, guys. If anyone has any methods to avoid some of this stuff other than sitting in a basement or a bomb shelter and not doing anything at all, or maybe living in the woods would be nice. I don't know. Let us know in the comments. All right, next up, everyone always complains, and it's like national attention. If a self-driving car crashes into something, all of a sudden the entire world has to know, and it becomes major news. Whereas, there's a gazillion people that slam into each other, get drunk and slam into somebody, have road rage and drive their car into someone. This stuff happens all day long, every day, but it's not a big deal because it wasn't a computer driving. Well, this video maybe can help to start getting regular people to see the benefits of a car that can drive itself. You guys should go watch this, but it's just basically Tesla's autopilot predicting crashes freakishly early and doing something to avoid them. It sees, the motion of the other car before you do. It sees that one car is going too fast. It knows that two bodies are about to collide, and it's like, okay, we better slow that down. So if you like tech and you like websites and you need a website, why don't you get a .tech domain? We've been working with these guys for quite a while. They're awesome, really awesome to work with, and they got some pretty good deals. So let's say you want a .tech domain. There we go, Zweihander.tech. $49 for 1 year. But if you use coupon code CRIT1, apply that, hey, $10.99 for a year. That's how they get such a good deal for us. That's nice. So thanks very much. Next up, if you want to switch it up to maybe 10-year contract, right? So 10 years costs $569 with CRIT10 as your code to save $449.91, making 10 years of your domain only $119. That's typically cheaper than a .com or anything else, and it's a .tech domain. So yeah, I think I need to go register a few of these myself. With all that money you save, you can buy a moped. A very inexpensive moped that will fall apart and damage your body.
Craigslist moped.
Craigslist moped, right there. Coupon discount, Craigslist moped. Woo. Guys, check out .tech. It's get.tech, and you guys can grab a domain name over there. I usually let all the other YouTube channels talk about this because we've been going a little bit more lighthearted, but this is getting really fucking serious with the FCC. So a Jit Pie, or whatever his name is, the dude needs to shut his pie hole. Do you guys get that? That's not my original joke, but anyway, Jit Pie, he used to be like a counsel for Verizon. Now he's in charge of the FCC, and the latest FCC rules are pretty much written by Verizon and Comcast and a lot of these big companies. And what's scary about that is they're going to remove Title II. That's what they want to do. They want to remove the Title II classification so that they can pretty much do whatever they want with the internet. If they have their way, the internet that we have is going to look a lot like this. Hey, $79 you can get Facebook and Bing and BBC and Yahoo and Amazon, but that's it. You don't get anything else. If you want other things, you're going to have to pay extra for them. They want to create little packages like your television packages. And I don't see them really getting away with this. I mean, it's sensationalized. It's possible they could do this because they're pushing for the rules to go in the direction that they would have total control, and they could, basically monitor, and if they don't want, crit to show up on any search engines, they don't want crit to show up as an available option, they can just be like, nope, sorry, you're on Verizon, we don't have access to that service, we're sorry. They could do things like that. That's possible. But the main thing here is that they're also pushing, and they've got some very specific, terms in here, where they want mobile data to also be separate, and they want, really to be able to do whatever they want with mobile data. I mean, you guys can read through this and get really into it, but the bottom line here is if you have a Verizon phone or something, they want to be able to say like, oh, well, you can have the Verizon data package that includes these 5 websites. That's where I can really see something like this happening, being like,
well, mobile bandwidth is rough, and we don't have a lot of towers because we're spending all our money on acquiring each other instead of infrastructure. Couldn't be bothered with actually upgrading our services because there's no competition because we're paid to make it go away.
That's where I can really see them saying, like, you get our streaming service that has all of the, all the media companies that we own. You get, our email stuff. You get our search engine. You get all of our stuff. And if you want anything extra, you're gonna have to pay for it. Or, if Facebook wants to be on our little thing, we'll work out a deal with them behind the scenes and they can pay us. So they're getting paid from all angles and they're curating your internet experience on the phones. I can see that happening more than anything. Other than that, we can expect higher data bandwidth caps at home. We can expect possibly stranger websites to kind of just not be available. I don't know. All this stuff it's probably gonna happen. And it's all thanks to Pi. Fuck that guy. Someone set up a website called Comcast StroTurf. So for Comcast people, what they've done is they've basically just logged on to the FCC website and they've used lots of our names without our knowledge, and they've posted, copy-pasted like the same anti-net neutrality comments. So on this website you can go and search and see if your name has been used without your consent, and then you can contact a lawyer. Comcast is suing that website that's providing a service to show if your name has been used without your consent nefariously. Canada, we're coming.
Yeah.
We're coming for you guys, Canada. I'm gonna miss Portland, man, but this is gonna be fun. Let's go. All that stuff is gonna go away. Let's talk about some science stuff. This is fun. So scientists have created the world's first lab-grown human blood stem cells. So they'll be able to, in the future, produce blood of many different types. It's like synthetic oil for your car. I wonder if it'll run longer like synthetic oil does than regular oil. I don't know. Maybe they can make a better blood. Did you guys know that the fountain of youth was not a fountain spouting forth with water? It's a fountain spouting forth with blood. All right, so here's the deal, guys. They're going to be able to make synthetic blood in the future that will work, and it's going to be great for blood types that are hard to come by. Like someone's got type O negative, man, and black number 1. And other things like that. Here's the real thing that's going to be interesting about this. I was saying the fountain of youth, right? What does that mean? Blood can't make you younger. Well, they're doing some tests where they're taking blood from the young and giving it to the old, and it's actually slowing down the aging process. Well, it has done that in rats. They're going to be doing the human test in San Francisco for the next few years, and then we'll see what happens. Get in line to get a blood transfusion from a young one into yourself. Well, now they can just make synthetic young blood. What if they make very, very young blood, healthy blood, and keep injecting a few rich people? Couple all that with all the other bionic enhancements that we're going to have, and we could have found the fountain of youth. This is all true, not hypothetical at all, 100% accurate. There are some people already out there in the world who already have bionic parts in their body. Since they're doing this, and they've been using CRISPR to mess with genes that are alive. They're not like, normally they make CRISPR, they make a little thing, here's the new piece of life. But they can edit people as they are. And they're not really talking about this much right now. They edit you as you are, got synthetic blood. Now they can make specialized types of synthetic blood that work specifically with your augmentation. Let's just imagine for a moment a world out there where we have people with very strange blood types that are carrying different types of, chemicals, and maybe they carry a bit of a current or something like that to different parts of the body. We can have people who are going to be able to see way farther than you and I can see. We can have people who have strange muscle growth, all thanks to the fact that we're able to tamper with what the human is. That's all coming very soon. So you can buy it at Walmart or whatever. We'll see who does it first. The morals are always going to get in the way. Guys, when Bruce Schneer talks, listen to Bruce Schneer. Bruce Schneer right now, he's written a little article here on his website, or a blog on his website, talking about the whole ransomware thing, the WannaCry ransomware. And he brings up a very interesting point. They took for ransom a computer, right? Just like a Windows computer, they can go back in and patch that. Windows even broke with their tradition of saying like, hey, we were done with Windows XP. They went back and patched Windows XP as well because it could, this ransomware had affected old versions of Windows. Now in this article, he brings up some very interesting points. We are moving towards a future where everything is connected. Your power plant is connected. Your microwave is connected. The keys to your house are on your phone and they're connected. So imagine you get home one day and your phone pops up, oh shit, I got some ransomware. And they're usually very low sums of money because they want to make money. They don't really want to like fuck you up. They want to actually just get you to pay. So it's nuisance stuff. We're talking like you show up at your house, it's like, hey, nice house. Would you like to go inside? It's going to cost you $100 to unlock your door with your connected lock mechanism. So you have to hope you have a key. You have your Nest or your connected thermostat, right? It's gonna say like, okay, listen, it's freezing. You're living in Vermont, you're living in Canada, it's freezing. Well, it's gonna cost you $300 to turn on the heat. If not, your pipes are gonna freeze, they're gonna burst, you're gonna be out thousands, and you're gonna be really freaking cold. Plus your baby that's got like, the flu or something, well, it's gonna get a lot worse when it's 20 degrees inside your house. So you're gonna have to sit there and be like, all right, $300 ransomware. The next problem in this is like, yeah, things can be patched, things can be fixed, but what about devices from companies that go out of business? What about devices that are no longer getting updates? What if you buy a fridge, and fridges last like 10, 20 years. What if you buy a fridge now and it doesn't get any updates or patches? The company kind of goes away or stops making them, or the software is now different and you haven't updated because it requires someone to come in and like manually update it. Let's say something like that happens. You're done. It's like, hey, your fridge is off. That's it. We need to sit back and think about the security of the Internet of Things before we just connect everything to the fucking internet. And a lot of the companies that are out there, they're startups and they're excited and they're running around with their whatever stuff, their shit, and they're going, hey, this is cool, we're gonna do an app that's gonna do, I'm from San Francisco, and you've got all this stuff, right? They're just excited about getting it out there, and they don't stop to think about the security, because it's a team of just a few people, and they're so excited about what they're doing. The same thing happens a lot of times when it comes to manufacturing. A few people get together and they're like, we're gonna make the bionic scissors, and they're like, oh, did you safety test these? Oh man, we were so excited about making the bionic scissors that we forgot to test them, and now someone cut their hand off. That is the problem that we're really gonna have. There needs to be probably some mandated safety rules that they must have some minimum level of security before they're allowed to be marketed and sold. Don't know if it's gonna happen because people in charge don't understand the technology that's coming out right now and are therefore making rules that's counterintuitive to the technology. I'm talking about some game stuff. What do you think? It's been a heavy episode because I'm packing a lot of stuff in because next week I'm going to be at Computex, so that episode's going to be mostly about us running around Taiwan, checking out hardware and stuff, but it won't be as heavy as this one. But you guys better stay tuned next Saturday. All right, come on over here. Let's talk about some fun stuff. So AT&T is trying to buy Time Warner, right? Time Warner owns HBO, and they've been actually very outwardly vocal about what they want to do with Game of Thrones. So they're saying, Game of Thrones is an hour long. That's a bit long to show on our devices, like our AT&T phones and stuff like that. We should cut it up in 20-minute pieces. So how do you feel about them talking about fucking with shows like Game of Thrones? They're coming in and just changing the format. They're like, oh, we're still going to give them creative control and all that stuff. And, we're not going to limit it to only AT&T devices or AT&T services. We'll still put it out there and let it be its thing. But What do you think about them coming in and having all these ideas?
I think it's a dangerous start that would set a really shitty precedence to a lot of other things.
Yeah.
Like it's Game of Thrones. Like, first they're gonna be like, oh, we're gonna just cut it down to 20-minute episodes. They're gonna be like, well, since this is on a mobile thing like that, it's really a lot harder for us to, keep track of who's watching it and who isn't. So we're gonna need to get rid of the gratuitous violence, any of the nudity that's in there. We're gonna need to edit out too. And pretty soon you're getting like PG-13 Game of Thrones on your phone versus rated R Game of Thrones on HBO.
Right.
So
because you could be sitting on a train next to someone who doesn't need to see that.
Yeah.
Or doesn't want to see that.
That's
But blood and sleuths are always going to be okay.
Yep. But it's not going to be. But that's going to set up a dangerous precedent for other shows, and they'd be like, well, now companies that don't even have anything to do with the TV show at all are going to have creative control over what to do with the show, and it's going to turn into one of those things where then like, oh, now all the writers are upset and all the producers are upset because they've lost their creative control. Turn into another writer's strike bullshit thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know what HBO would do if AT&T exercised lots of control. I don't have any idea. They're saying they're going to leave things alone if the merger goes through, but they're also say they're spending every waking hour trying to make the merger happen. So Trump has said that he wasn't going to allow this merger, but now it's unsure.
I'm wondering why they're putting such a pull for Game of Thrones. It's only got 2 seasons left.
Well, they're just. I think that was sort of an example because they've been talking about it a lot, but that's one show on HBO. There's a lot of really good content on HBO.
True.
A lot of interesting new shows that are in the works. And what if they look at each of those new shows and they're like, we got to cut that down, throw a bunch of ads in there, and
you gotta get rid of all the robot parts of Westworld.
Yeah. All that's got to go,
Yep.
and it's got to be. The show will be 5 minutes long each week with no nudity.
It'll just be like, howdy. And
a gunfight. Yeah. Because it's on mobile, it's using the mobile data.
Yeah.
They got to pay for that data that you're already paying for.
So you have to hit the X on your screen already, and then you accidentally go to a separate link, and it stops the show, and you have to reset it.
And then Google tracks what you've done.
We live in the land of the free, guys.
It must be so easy to fap if you're a fat cat with a suit on. Like these days,
oh my god,
they're creating the ultimate fap world for themselves.
We're doing, oh yeah.
Those fap cats in
They're fap cats.
The fap cats at Wall Street.
The T-shirt will be coming next year. Never next. Yes.
So this is a download it before it gets taken down kind of thing.
Konami has given their blessing to the previous game. He made like one game before, like a fan game. Mm-hmm. I don't think Konami said much on this, but this is an unofficial, unlicensed Castlevania game
called Castlevania: The Card Chronicles.
This is part 2 right now. Yeah. So part 1 they got away with, and it looks
really good.
Pretty legit.
I've downloaded it, but I haven't actually sat down and played it yet.
Yeah.
But I'm a big fan of Castlevania series.
Just play this right here. This is another Castlevania Metroid-style game with guess what kind of combat?
Fluid action combat?
Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Combat.
Oh, you mean another side-scrolling Dark Souls Metroidvania game set in a dark world with really sick combat?
Whenever I see this, I immediately like, oh, I'm fucking excited.
Yeah.
That's just what my response is. I think I've got a theory right now because this was backed like instantly on Kickstarter and it's doing really well. I think a lot of the people who grew up with these games are of an age where they have a decent, job and are making a little bit of money, enough money to support Kickstarter stuff, and this is what they want because it's what they grew up with, and it's like hit that perfect age.
I mean, this looks pretty cool, but I at the same time, like when you showed this to me, my first response was, "Oh, you mean like how I was playing Dead Cells the other day? Oh, you mean like the game Sundered? Oh, you mean like," and it just felt like I was listing off this list of all things to be listing, but it felt like I was listing off this like whole slew of games like this X category.
Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah. Whoa, that baby's awesome.
A lot of games coming out like this, and the best one, Death's Gambit. Yeah, that one. I think Death's Gambit still looks like the best one, even though this looks really brutal and good. I don't know anything about this game other than just what you see here. There's a little bit of
give you a lot of info.
There's a little bit of a story down here, but the story looks kind of like over the top.
You play as Drillhead.
Like an Order of the Shadow and all that stuff. I don't know. It's got the over the top epic stuff, but it looks like the combat's what's selling this.
It's better than that controller we were looking at the other day.
That Razer controller.
Yeah.
How's everybody feel about this thing? How much is this?
$200.
$200. How much did you pay when you bought the PlayStation 4?
I paid $250 for my PlayStation 4 in its entirety with the controller and Uncharted 4.
So if you sold Uncharted 4, this would be about the same price, maybe.
I guess. This is just hideous, though. It's so hideous it drives Pistol away. It's one translucent case short of being a Mad Catz product.
I mean, it's kind of got the shape of an Xbox controller with the design of a
But
PlayStation controller.
Got all those, like, bullshit buttons at the bottom. I don't know.
You don't want to be able to mute, having that as a button.
I guess.
I paid $200 for that.
Nobody wanted this.
Incredibly
what's up with
durable and
this blue?
exclusively tested by esports athletes. Ooh.
No, esports athletes, they use mouse and keyboard.
It looks awful.
Does it?
It looks so
Those big
uncomfortable.
bubbly things right there? Maybe it's
Yeah,
amazing.
if you're not a fan of like texture stuff like that, Logan, you're probably gonna hate touching this thing.
Look
If
at
you
that
hated touching
hard
the
corner right there, hitting his finger.
like if you hated using the bumpier ones on the Corsair mouse, like you're probably not even gonna like putting your hands on this.
Let's see if Razer will send us one for review. Look at this
This
thing.
is how you void the warranty.
You can't mod a product you own. Are you kidding?
You think you could do stuff with something you bought?
We get some more dubstep, please.
Those
additional
back
buttons.
triggers will not be easy to access at all.
What are you guys talking about? This thing's bouse!
Let's get a word from
Hey Doug, what are you thinking about this week?
About 153,000 people will die on your birthday.
Fascinated or horrified? I don't know with him.
I'm fascified.
Guys, these t-shirts,
Pretty great.
The quality. Just get them for the quality. That's all I'm going to say. I spent top dollar for the quality. The ink does not stick to you. It's actually soft to the touch. It dyes the fabric instead of putting a print on there. That's what we do. So if you don't have one of our t-shirts, you're going to need to get one just so you can walk around to your friends. I do this a lot in public, and it's a good way to get strangers to touch you if you're into that sort of thing. Be like, dude, you got to feel this. Oh, does that feel good? So that's the sales pitch for the store, epicpants.com. Seriously. Oh, let's go see what you're playing right now.
Okay, come on over.
All right.
This is Perception.
Strange
So
looking.
it's because you are playing as a blind person, actually. This is a echolocation horror game where you are in a house in Gloucester, Massachusetts, and you are trying to unravel the mystery of what happened in this place. So you can't see, you're actually blind, and it's neat because they have like blind people tools in here. Like
Blind
you use your
people,
cane
like
to
cane.
echolocate. But then
So
if
you're
you
tapping, that's what that is. You tap and then that
Yep.
echolocates. But that makes noise, right?
And so noise can. So this is the other cool thing is you can pick up pieces of paper and scan it with Delphi, which
Right.
I assume is a service that your phone, a text to
Text-to-speech or whatever.
Yeah. So you play as this girl and you're exploring through and you're trying to unravel the mystery of what went through here and how it's connected to you. It's pretty neat. So there's like weird creatures that pop up everywhere really quickly at you. And so far, if you make too much noise, this weird moth creature will come after you and you have to hide from it until it like goes away. Moths are a really important part. I'm gonna see if I can summon this weird phantom.
If you're gonna make a horror game in America, New England is where to set it.
Come on, Mothy Poo. Oh yeah, now it's really pissed. So that
Oh
thing.
shit.
Yeah.
What is this thing?
So it's very surreal. Like sometimes you'll step through a doorway and it will transport you into like a completely different place. You know, things like that. Because you have this whole blind aspect, it adds a whole kind of new level of like and terror to it because you're not sure what's going on.
Alright, who should play this?
People that are into the horror survival thing, they said Gone Home was one of their inspirations for this. So if you like that kind of mystery solving puzzle aspect to things, this is a really great one for you. If you're looking for like a more Resident Evil-esque horror game where you can actually like, you know, attack the moth dudes and stuff like that, none of that's going to happen in here. It's about figuring out the puzzle and moving your way through. And
Right, so you're exploring and hiding.
if you're looking for action, this isn't going to have it, but if you're looking for a neat puzzle mystery to solve, this is going to be a pretty neat one for you. And the blind mechanic makes it much more interesting, and they definitely use it to their advantage to like play on your like spooked out senses.
What the fuck
Yeah.
was that?
It wasn't the plant. Available on Steam.
Oh, by the way, that's the end of the show, everybody. Goodbye. Bye. I stepped on the thing. Fuck. Hi, everybody. You're watching the Chris Show Dance Party. You guys love dance parties because they're so much fun? About how much fun I have with these fucking